ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Andy, of Chilling War Games, with my immaculate and luscious hair, ace interviewer, and I am joined at this time by the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jake Thornton himself.
Hi folks.
So, what brings you here today to the UK Games Expo?
Well, lots and lots of people to talk to. Many happy gamers. It's a chance for me to wander around and see all sorts of folk and talk to people about the games we're doing and what we magic and buy some more dice. Just spent quite a bit of money buying more dice because you can.
You can never have too many dice.
So they say.
What colour dice?
Blue, some orange ones and more blue, and some green.
I'd like to see a slightly higher ratio of orange in there.
It was just to do with the number that what they had.
Now then, the words on everyone's lips at the moment. The townsfolk from all around, the whispers I've been hearing. Dwarf kings.
Yes, they have.
Tell me more.
Tell you more. What have you heard? That's an interesting way to go.
Well,
what are the whispers of the townsfolk saying?
A little bird told me that it could be in for something of a revamp, if you will.
Well, it's not so much a revamp. What we've had, if you followed my Burblings on Quirkworthy many moons ago, when it first came out, one of the things it was, when I come up with a design, it's a matter of thinking of the game sort of has a natural size, a natural sort of set of things it wants to be. Maybe it wants one expansion, no expansions, or 62 expansions to get the whole sort of shape of the piece out. And I always thought there were 4 pieces to Dwarf King's Island. There was the ones we did, the first 3 we did, but they were all of a particular style of play, where you have 2 sides and it's my force of undead against your force of dwarves, or your orcs, or elves, or whatever it might be. But it was a sort of force against force sort of thing. We had a little skirmish group of half a dozen, 8, 10, 12 people. And that's one set, that's fine. The other way of playing it was the one we never got round to. That's what we're going to come back to with Dwarf King's Island 4. The other way of playing it is you have that similar kind of force of undead, orcs, or whatever, and I have a group of adventurers. So it's still 2 sides, but mine is a different kind of thing. It's not lots of minions, with maybe a hero or 2 in it. It's a group of all heroes in a classic Dungeon Dash kind of way. So you might have a wizard, a dwarf warrior, a barbarian, that kind of thing. And one of the nice things about this style of play is that you can then split the hero side down between a number of players. So you can play up to 5 people. One person plays the bad guys, very good. Misunderstood perhaps is describing it. And the other side is split between 1, 2, 3 or 4 people who can play one hero each, or a number, depending on how many players you've got in the game. So in that way it's slightly cooperative, and you're all after the same thing. But there may be the odd niggle, not quite all after the same detail. You know, I want to be first through the door, I want to get this particular thing. We're trying to beat the Necromancer, but at the same time we're all got our mini agendas we're doing. So this is a different style of play, because you've got heroes that are obviously they're more powerful than the ones you've seen before. And more powerful, there's a little bit more to think about with each one, so that there's enough there for an individual model to be worth playing. Otherwise you'd go, well, I'm bored. So there's a bit more to each hero. On the other side, you've got in this Dwarf King's 4 case, it'll be the undead. Mortimerus will come back from the character behind the bad undead stuff in the first book, first game, is Mortimerus the Necromancer. He's coming back, he's naughtier than ever, and so he's got not only his minions of skeletons and revenants and ghosts and whatever. He's got some new models, some new ranges. We've got zombie trolls and zombie troll shamans. So he's got kind of mini bosses, as it were, which are hero level characters. So, what have we got? We've got the same core mechanics. So they're familiar to people who've played the Dwarf King's Island series before. We've got a whole lot of existing adventures that will be usable with some of the characters, and a different style of play in a game that will take not just 2 people, but up to 5. New models, a lot of new models, very nice models. I've got some pictures up on my website the other day. There's lots of new models, actually, lots of undead, characters, lots of heroes, and the basic way of playing, you start off, you get the box, you open the box, and you've got the models pre-assembled, you lay them out, and you follow these series of stories, a series of narrative scenarios, like you did in Dwarf. They're linked together, and they're set up for you, so that you take 3 of these, put the 2 of those there, and so this is the puzzle, as it were. And then you've got to try and solve the puzzle to rescue your mates, kill the bad guys, whatever it might be. Within the process of these stories, as the scenarios carry on, the heroes become more experienced. And we tell you what they want. So in this scenario, the dwarf finds a magic hammer. So the second scenario, he's got a magic hammer at the beginning, and then there's some potions that someone gets, and so on. And so you get things, and you get skills and experience, and learn more spells, and all sorts as you go along through the scenarios. We tell you how they all work. That's the core way. And then we've got what Ronnie's calling the Book of Depravity, which is all of the extra stuff that I wanted to put in, which doesn't really. There's 2 kinds of different people who want to play. Some people just want to play it very simple, beer and pretzels, get it out, run around a dungeon, hit stuff. And that's great. And I will play that as well, some of the time. In certain groups, with certain people who want to play that with good wife or non-gamers, it's easy to get in that kind of way. When you want to get your geek on, and you want to get, I don't just want this dwarf adventure, I want to pick what weapon I've got, I want to pick what special skills I've got, I want to pick, when I get the loot, I want to spend it on certain things. Between adventures, I want to go to the temple to make an offering, or I want to go down the pub and get rollick with my mates, or all these different things you can do. You can imagine doing in role-play games you play, or all sorts of other games. They need a place to go in my head. If we're doing this game, let's just go the whole hog. Let's just do all of this. But it doesn't all fit in the first way of playing. So we have a Book of Depravity, which is everything else. So in the first set, in the basic way of playing, the beer and pretzels straightforward version, you've got a board game. It's very simple. It tells you what you need to do, set up each scenario. There's a bunch of very carefully balanced scenarios, so you can have a great time going through, fighting through the whole campaign. Then you get the sandpit that says, here's how you make everything. Here's how you make up a dwarf. It doesn't have to be like the one you had from the start. That was Snorri. This is how you make any dwarf. So you could make Snorri, like the guy you had at the start, but you could make something completely different. And here's how you make elves, here's how you make wizards, and then here's the kind of treasure and loot, and here's what you do between adventures. Here's a list of stats for all of the models within the Kings of War range, which is a lot. And how to put them in the game. So if you want a dungeon full of nature creatures, a dungeon full of orcs, full of vermin, or whatever you like, there'll be rules to do that. And then how you put dungeons together of your own if you do adventures, how the bad guys' characters improve, how you work out what models you've got to face against the heroes. Because one of the things that's important, people have been saying to me, well, I don't like playing the bad guy because it's a bit boring because you always lose. It's all set up so, And this is saying, actually, well, the problem is they've played other games that have been skewed so the heroes win most of the time. And that's the other game. That's not this. I think that's boring. I think that's why give somebody the role to lose most of the time? And all they're there to do is just move things around and be ground down and make the heroes look good. So let's not do that. Let's have 50-50 chance of the bad guys and the heroes side winning. That sounds much more fun. Then you can really get into it. So I'm making the bad guy role a fun role to be the necromancer. I mean, being the necromancer sounds great. Being the necromancer, summoning your undead shaman trolls and waves of undead going to slaughter the heroes, and they try and do their clever things and cast spells. It sounds much more fun. Making that an active role with choices and tactical decisions and all sorts of stuff to do. So that's what we're doing. We're making the undead side as much of a thing to do and a style and way of playing as the heroes. Different, because obviously that works very differently. But that's what gives it even more playability. You can swap sides. If I play heroes in one game, and I swap sides and play undead, it's a very different game from their point of view. Not only they're different missions, but they've got very different Probably enough to start you off. What's that?
It's the secret to being a professional interviewer. Telepathically communicate 90% of your questions into the interviewee's brain, so you can just answer them all in one go. But thankfully, I saved one. Now, there's a lot of nostalgia these days.
There is.
For the old kind of games, in a similar style, along the lines of Hero Quest, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So, this new version of Dwarf King's Hall, is that taking a few steps towards that area?
The first style, the beer and pretzel style, is of playing it. It's very much in the sort of pick up and play with your family kind of. It's able to. It's very open, and it's in terms of not being. You don't have to be a geek to apply. If you don't. There's some games where you play and you get that box open and think, oh my lord, this is a huge, complicated rulebook. There's all these things that I've got to learn all this stuff. It's not my hobby. I just wanted to have a quick think about, and not that. Hero Quest, that kind of game, very much for a family to play, and that's how we're looking at the start. It's the way you start, and it's just that we know I'm not the only one that wants to be able to have all of the extra stuff, but that's a separate, sort of separate tier. There's a shelf in the box. The top bit's got all the basic game in, and underneath there's a take all that out, you play that, it's quite straightforward, and then there's a piece of paper that says, lift this lid at your own peril, abandon hope all ye who lose it. Underneath that is the book of Pemberton, all the weird things that go with that. So it's kind of clearly delineated between two different styles of play, if you like. And yes, so in that way it takes a sort of leaf out of the Hero Quest, not that kind of thing. It's designed for a much broader audience. But it's also the geeks who are playing a thriller game at the end of the session, it's people who play it. So I feel actually playing some light games today. I've played a couple of games of Dreadball. I don't want to play anything heavy. I'll just get this out and give this a go.
So are you hoping that in 10 or 20 years when people are asked which game got them into wargaming, maybe they'll say, well, it was...
That would be lovely, yeah. If that was the case, that would be lovely. I mean, it's one of those things where I think MV and Hero Quest was sort of advertised on TV and Argos and all the rest of it, very, very, very widely available. And that's the issue, is getting it, as broadly available. But yeah, I meet people occasionally who say, oh, I remember you from something you did 25 years ago. And it's always very nice to hear that sort of, you were part of their, sort of making them enthused and excited, and your enthusiasm and excitement sort of led them on to take that as a part of their life as well.
You got it out there on this incredibly mainstream show as well, though.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
That's a kickstart for you. Now, another thing, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. I am the creator of arguably the #1 How to Play Dreadball series on YouTube. So good that it's been translated into French.
Right.
So you know it's good.
Right.
So I just felt like I should mention that to you.
Okay. I'm afraid I haven't seen it yet, but I will go and watch it now.
Yes, I'll have to send you a link.
Yes,
I'll send you a link to the French version as well if you like.
Will
that be any good
less
to you?
useful?
It's impressive.
The fact that it's in French, I mean, I've seen stuff I've done that's been made in French, and you go, oh wow, it's in French, it's in German, I can't read that properly. It can't make any sense. So it's lovely that it's in a foreign language, but unless you speak it. And what I find is I just start thinking, do they really mean that? I think I know what they're saying, and I don't think that's actually right, but I don't know enough about that language to really make sense of it. So, I'll try the French as well. I'll try.
Speaking of Dreadball, and Dead Zone, in fact, any interesting developments?
Well, we've got Extreme in the works at the moment. That's busy chugging along, and we've got lots of stuff in the works for that. If you look at Kickstarter, there's 12 new teams. And that's 12 new teams for Dreadball in Season 4, 5 and 6. And there's all of that stuff also works in Dreadball Extreme. So there's an awful lot of stuff going on. Plus there's loads and loads of MVPs and generally naughty people. And there's a new Medibot and loads of stuff.
Just felt my wallet trying to leap out of my pocket there.
Some stuff. And Yeah, we're looking at some more of the Azure Forest campaign back. We're looking at that kind of thing and seeing what other interesting little twiggles we can pull out in that regard. And for Dead Zone as well as whatever the other one's called, Dreadball. Confused. Dead Zone. Yes, so there's various different bits of it. They're all chugging along in the background. There's lots of different possibilities. But for the moment, we're focusing on getting the stuff finished for Dreadball this game, getting the stuff started for Kizzy.
Excellent. Well, I think we've taken up enough of your time now, so I'll let you wander back in and mingle with your people.
Mingle with the people.
So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes.